Hey guys, what's going on? It's Colin here again, back with another fan video. And today we're featuring an interesting little fan. This is my little Frigid Box Fan. To be completely honest, I don't remember what the model number is. But this is a very interesting little fan, and I'm going to explain why in a minute. But I believe this is either, I don't know, maybe a 16-inch fan, if you're measuring the box, not the blades. If you measure the blades, it's probably 14. So, a couple of years ago, I was browsing through my favorite thrift store, and this thing showed up there, so of course I had to have it. And any fan that I found there has been under 15 bucks, so we'll assume this one is no different. And the reason I had to have it is that this kind of is similar to a childhood fan I used to have here at my grandpa's. So when I was younger, my grandpa one day came home, or rather I came over here and there was a new fan sitting around, and it was a vintage Frigid. I think it was a 4-blader, and it had the snap-on plastic grills like this one, but it was the kind of more like shaped ones. I don't really know how to describe it. I'll see if I can find a picture of it and throw it in here, or at least a similar one from online. But it was a 4-blade model, I believe. No reverse or anything. Had the twist knob on the top, and it was a full size. It was the 20-inch, and that was the coolest fan. I always liked that a lot. If I remember, it had a pretty cool startup sound too. It was in good condition too. But we used it for several years, and then my grandpa had a house out in East Quogue that they moved into for a little while, and he brought it out there, and they used it in the window. And then one time I came out there to come and play with it, and it didn't turn on anymore. So we did a little troubleshooting. We tried bypassing the switch and the cord and some other stuff, and nothing worked. So I think the motor probably went on it. Looking back, it probably was just due to a lack of oil, but I was too young at the time to really know to service stuff. But oh well. So that one ended up becoming something of a Frankenfan, where I put a motor from a pool filter on it, and it was ridiculous. But the motor was really too powerful for the fan blade, so it never really got used, and eventually it all ended up in the scrap pile, I think. But oh well, there's nothing I can do about it now. But I grabbed this one because A, it was a vintage cool little box fan, and B, it was a Frigid. So anyways, enough rambling. I'm going to take you guys off the tripod and we'll take a closer look. This is a very interesting little fan. It's in very good condition overall. It's all original. The paint's got, some scuffs and scrapes, mostly just dirty from sitting down here for so long. It's got one of the two knobs for the stand that I never got. The other one's broken off here. And these grills, aside from being yellowed, are damn near perfect. I don't see a single slat on the front that's broken, and there's only one tiny one down here that's broken. Actually, you know what I just saw? There's some information. Hold on, I'm going to see if I can pop this grill off. This design is kind of nice in the sense it makes it really easy to service, but when it gets as old as this one and it's plastic, that snapping sound always scares me a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put that there on the e-waste pile. I think the recycling centers are closed, so I kind of have to wait a little while. The computers kept building. Here we go. It's a cat number PC-14, so I guess it is a 14-inch blade. That's my guess. 1.5 amps. 110 volts, so that should give you an idea of how old it is right there. And 60 cycles. So I think this fan's probably from the 60s. That's my guess. Here's the information on the motor. It's a General Electric motor. It's a tiny little thing. Here's my hand in comparison. But it spins real free and it works real nice. You can also see it's got oh, I'm sorry. This isn't cloth wiring. I thought it was. But it's early like rubber coated or silicone wire. It's got the original cord on it and the original plug here, which is kind of cool. Original handle, still pliable. And you also might notice that this fan spins counterclockwise. So that's interesting. Not many fans do that. It's also got the Venturi ring, which I always like the look of. So yeah, it's a cool little thing. You can see on that blade there, I started to polish it at some point, but I just got tired of how much effort it was taking. But these blades will shine up to a mirror finish if I really wanted to do that. The big fan I had, the one I used to have as a kid had the snap-ons too, but it was the different grill design. The other interesting thing about this fan, you can see there maybe, there's holes on the top and bottom for the older style metal grill that kind of hooks into those, which I believe is the same one that Jordan Yu just did a video of. So if you're watching, here's probably a decent comparison for you. So it's probably, the one you have is probably a Frigid. Just, I think this one's a slightly newer model. And if you are watching, here's the repair I did to mine. This originally had a push button switch here, but when I got it, one of the buttons was missing, and then the other one another one ended up breaking at some point. So what I did was I cut this small piece of aluminum here. It doesn't look great, but it works, and I found a random rotary knob here that I had, a rotary switch with knob. And like I said, it doesn't look too great, but it works pretty well. And for the time, this is all I had, so that's my repair, but at least it gives me all 3 speeds. So this thing, if I remember correctly, has one of the coolest startup sounds. So I'm going to shut up for a minute. I'm going to start it up on low. Is that not one of the coolest, like, old motor multi-tone startups you've ever heard? Sorry about all the sniffling. I have allergies and I just got done cutting the lawn here, so that didn't work out too well. But takes its time to speed up a little bit on low. Like, it's still speeding up a little bit, I think. But then again, this thing's been sitting for a while. But it's got a nice quiet low, and it throws a really decent amount of air for its size. And go to medium. You can hear that motor is still whining a little bit. Now it's starting to pick up a little speed. I did a full service on this thing when I got it, but honestly it hasn't been used a lot since, and it's kind of just been sitting, so it probably just needs to free up a little bit, as you can hear. There's medium. Definitely a little bit louder, but it's a strong breeze, if you can hear me over the noise. And here's high. That motor's got an interesting whine to it on high. You can probably hear. It's got a constant, you know, whine to it, which I don't know if it's good or not. And unfortunately I don't have my kilowatt meter here to measure it, but it's throwing out a decent breeze, I can tell you that much. So we'll go to off and do a spin down here. Can't promise it's going to be too great because, again, I haven't serviced this thing in a while. Yeah, I think this thing probably needs a decent servicing and cleanup. I've kind of been doing that recently, where I've kind of, since I've had the time, I've gone through my fans with a finer tooth comb and really kind of restored them pretty well. I did that with my SS18 and my Edison so far, but I think I'm going to end up doing that to as many of my fans as I can. But this one's definitely in need of that. But let's do a startup sound on high here. There you go. That's like one of my all-time favorite startup sounds, I think. Or at least the ones that sound similar to this with that like multi-tone whine. I love that. So anyways, guys, I think that's going to be all for this video. Hopefully, Jordan, if you're watching, hopefully you found this useful. I'm pretty sure yours is a Frigid that's slightly older than this one, but hopefully it's at least a decent comparison for you. But anyways, thank you all for watching. If you like what you see, hit the like and subscribe buttons. Feel free to leave a comment if you have one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.